Hey guys, this is part two of T telling us about being in the military and all the great things that happened to make her who she is. What does it say? Make you all you can be? Army, make you.
Yes,
That's what it is. Okay.
all you can be in the army.
There we go. There we go. So T's going to tell us a little bit more about what was going on, and this is part two of her story.
So where I left off was
You went to Italy.
yes, so
You
but
said, move me
before
away.
yes, before that, I'll never forget the phone call that I had gotten from my ex-husband's mother, from the last time he had put his hands on me. And she was just crying on the phone. And she was like, "Hey, I don't know what you're going to do, where you're going to go, but you need to go because my son has been doing this for a long time." And she was like, something in her felt like he was going to just do something really, really, really bad, to me in front of the kids. And so she had a Jeep Cherokee. And she was like, "If I got to go to a car title loan place to get you a ticket, for you and the kids, I need you to go." So fast forward, got to Texas, got my orders. But prior to then, I had said, "Lord, please make sure you take me far, far away from him," not realizing like, be careful what you say. So in my class, I was the only one who was going overseas. Everybody else was stateside. So when I got it, the drill sergeant came to me. He was like, "Guess where you going?" And I was just like, "Hey, as long as it's not Virginia, I'm good." And he said, he's like, I'm kind of jealous. You got orders to Italy. And I was like, what? Now that's too far. And so, of course, the other students, they hear, "Oh, she's going to Italy." So, everybody's like, "Hey, I'll switch with you. I'll switch." And I was just like, goodness, it was already hard for me to walk away and have to drop my children off and this. Now you're going to send me to Italy. I don't know nothing about Italy. So I was like, man, now people are gonna probably think I really did this on purpose because I said I wanted to get away, but not like this far away. But when I got there, believe it or not, I went to it's called Camp Darby, Livorno, Italy. And when I got there, it's a small place in Italy, very small, very, 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 very small. We ran the post for our PT test. So from the front gate all the way back around to the front gate was 2 miles.
Wow.
That's how small it was. Yeah. So I never forget when I got there, I wasn't, ready for the euro, the time difference, and that, Italy is very family, family, family oriented, which I needed. So when I got there, I get to the airport, nobody speaks English. So I was like, "Oh, great. How am I going to get to where I need to be?" So here I am, green duffel bags, and I'm standing with my orders, walking up to the cab drivers, and I'm like, "Here, take me here." So they're looking, they're like, "Okay," still don't speak any English, right? I didn't have any euro on me. I had American money on me. So we're driving. They take me to the front gate. So he points to the meter and it was $20 and some change, right? So I give him a $20 bill. And at that time, our money wasn't good. So I give him a $20 bill, because he's pointing, and I'm like, "Okay, boom, here we go." So he's mad, he's like, "Rah, rah, 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 rah." And I'm like, "Dude, I gave you 20. You pointed to the meter. I gave you the $20 bills. Like, why are you yelling at me?" And so he's blah, 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 and he's still pointing to the meter. So I got frustrated. So I grabbed my stuff. I walked to the gate. Um, so they're called the Carabinerias, which is their police. So
Mm.
I'm walking to the gate. The cab driver is yelling, telling them like, "Hey, she didn't pay me. She ripped me off. She gave me an American dollar, money." So I get there, they stop me. So I'm like, "What is going on?" So the MPs, of course, they're American soldiers. So they're like, "You must be new here." And I'm like, "Yes." You know, and they were like, "It's 20 euro." And I was like, "What?" They were like, "Yeah." That's why he's yelling. So I'm like, "Oh, great. Where am I going to get that from?" So they're dying laughing. So thank goodness the military, soldiers, they're putting, money together and, had given the cab driver euro. So I'm like, didn't know where I was gonna go. So I showed them, my orders. I said, hey, here, I'm a medic. I'm probably going to the hospital. Can you take me to the hospital? So they finally get there. I get there late at night. So I check into TLF, which is temporary living facility.
Mm.
So I get there. My NCO meets me, Sergeant Bryant. So I get there. She's like, hey, I'm gonna come get you in the morning. Whoop, 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 at this time. I get in the hotel room. The first thing I'm doing is looking for a phone book because I'm hungry. So I'm like, "Oh, all right, I need to eat something. So I don't find a phone book. So I go downstairs and I'm like, excuse me, can I get a phone book or can you give me the number to the Chinese, or something? Because I'm
You want
hungry.
Chinese and you're in Italy. I'm trying. All right, I'm working with you. Keep going. Keep going. Keep going.
So I get downstairs and the front desk is like, you're new. And I was like, yes. And I'm very hungry. So who delivers? Who got Pizza Hut? Who do we have? So the front desk is like, ma'am, there's no such thing as delivery here.
Oh Lord, you got to walk.
No, there's no delivery. So I was like, wait. So then I'm like, where did they send me to? This place don't do delivery. Everybody does delivery. Like, what are you talking about? So now I go back to my room. Now I'm really crying because I'm like, I am hungry. These people say they don't do delivery. She's not coming back to get me till 6 o'clock in the morning. Great. Great. So now I'm like on top of everything personal going on in my life. Now I'm hungry. So I get there. So finally the next morning she picks me up and I said, is it true that there's no delivery here? And she bust out laughing. She's like, yes. She said, unfortunately, in Italy, they're family owners. Everything is a sit down restaurant. They don't believe in the
Mm.
fast food. So over there, like our lunch is 3 hours. Dinner is 5 hours,
Mm.
because they believe in sitting down and, everybody talking and everything else, like drive through and stuff. That's not their speed. So I was like, what? How am I going to make it? So, because I had always seen pictures of Italy being so beautiful, when people finally started asking me, like, how is it? I was like, I think they sent me to the rough part of Italy because it's not really pretty. I'm like, the pictures in the Olive Garden, they're lying. It doesn't look like that over here. They don't have delivery. But in the midst of that, my first duty station being that, I needed to get away. I needed to learn how to figure stuff out on my own
Mhm.
without having to be able to pick up a phone and somebody rescue me. So initially that was very hard, because I was used to being able to call my sister, call my brother, call somebody. And I'm saying they there. I'm in
What did
Italy.
you use to get you through that transition? What did you use to make it not so hard or make it get better sooner?
I ended up building or having relationships that were genuine and authentic. I had never really had a friendship where, somebody was my friend
Mhm.
and they were like, I could trust them.
Mhm.
They would really help me. They would give me good advice,
Mhm.
you know. They would give me tough love. Like,
Mhm.
okay, I'm not gonna make this sweet for you. Like, you need to hear this.
Mhm.
Um, so I got that. And because of that, allowed me to have much more, courage and strength in a lot of things. And believe it or not, that is where I met my best friend, and we've been best friends for 15 years. I met
So
her.
so let me ask you this. So the barracks has a lot of people, right? A lot of different
Mhm.
people there. How do you find the one that you're going to be friends with? How does that happen? I mean, does that happen quickly? Does it happen?
It does not happen quickly
Okay.
because my my roommate was Russian, okay?
Mhm.
And Jesus, because my definition of like things being clean and normal is not her normal. And when she talks, because Russians just talk hard, it
Mhm.
felt like she always had a
Yelling it.
problem with me. Yeah. So I was like, why are you like, I'm like, why are you always so unhappy, And so she like, I'm not, I can't believe you. And I'm like, well, you're doing all this, and so it like,
The
no.
cultural differences.
But how I got to meet my best friends, because over there, she wasn't in the military. Her husband was.
Mhm.
Um, but they had like this big house in Italy. And so they used to always have the company come for the holidays. So when I got there the weekend of Halloween. So of course the next holiday was Thanksgiving. So
Mhm.
everybody kept saying, "Oh, everybody goes to the Blackwells." So, me being a little picky, I was like, "Oh no, I don't eat at everybody's house. Ah, y'all comfortable like that?" And I was like, "We doing a potluck situation? Oh no, I'm not." So my first Thanksgiving there, I was by myself. I was all alone.
Where were your
So
kids?
I was still waiting for them to get command sponsored, because you can't take your kids, like if you go overseas, you can't take them right away. They have to go through the whole medical process to make sure that where you go, if there's any medical needs and stuff, that they qualify. And then you have to get command sponsored, meaning that your chain of command will allow you to have them. Because some places, um, like if you go to Korea, a lot of times people can't take their family with to Korea in certain places. So you have to wait. And it's a process of, getting their family command sponsored, and then the military cutting their orders, then getting their passports. And so it's a pretty lengthy process. So by the time my birthday comes around, because it was in December, um, everybody's still talking about the Blackwells, and I was like, y'all all going in there, Uh. Well, I ended up meeting her outside because she worked at the bank.
Mhm.
And so I didn't know, who she was. So she was like, hey, my name is, Miss Blackwell. She does hair and stuff like that. So she was doing everybody's hair and stuff over there. So I was like, oh, okay, you're the Blackwell that everybody's talking about. So she loves shoes, like I love shoes, and she loved to dance. So that was how we met. And so from there, she was like, "Girl, you funny." But I never felt like I was being funny. I just felt like I was just being myself. So from there, like, we just became close. And then, I felt comfortable to let her know everything that I was going through. And when I say she had my back, like, to this day, the definition of loyal, and I never had that before. I never had that.
Did you have someone like that in every location? Did you find a best friend or someone that you can hang out with at each
Yes.
location?
hmm
I wonder
But
if
she,
the
but she's, but
military,
but she's the only one that I can say is my best friend, like from 15 years ago till present. Yes.
I wonder if the military builds certain characteristics that makes it easier to find someone with the same values. Do you know what I mean? Because you're developing values and a strong work ethic. And
hmm
and in order to do excellence, there's certain things that you need. Do you know what I mean? Like in order to be
hmm
excellent in this, I need to laugh. In order to be excellent in
hmm
this, I need music. In order to be so now that you're focused on what you're doing and you're focused on the excellence, you
hmm
also know what kind of support you need, and
hmm
because the job is so demanding, right? Work hard, play hard,
hmm
you know what you need, and it's easy to ask for that or seek that out,
Yes,
you know?
it is. It definitely is. It definitely is. And I gained that. And I gained some great mentors. Like, I can honestly say I was truly blessed with great mentors, that a lot of them had age on me. So they looked more like at me
Mhm,
like I was their daughter.
mhm. But you
So
had to go through that process, and I could be
Mhm.
incorrect, that process in the military of understanding who you are and what you like and etcetera, so that you could hear their information. Because somebody could be
But it
telling you
doesn't
that,
happen. It doesn't happen right away. Well, it didn't happen right away for me. It took
okay,
me a minute for it to click.
how long did it take?
Years, because um, in my community, we don't talk about conflict resolution very much. We don't talk about how we get through a divorce.
Mhm,
No, we don't have those conversations. So for me being a young mother, barely 21,
Mhm.
um, I'm going through a divorce and it's nasty. I got children. That's hard. I still got to provide and take care of them. I still got to be okay when I'm not okay. I still got to be a soldier, and I have to make this work because I didn't have a plan B. And I can't talk about this out loud
Mhm.
initially. I can't tell somebody, "Hey, I'm struggling over here. My
Because
personal life is like this. I got this going on, and then first sergeant wants me to do all of this, and then we talking about a deployment. Now you talking about a field. You talking about duty. All of this, and I'm, I'm, I'm
why couldn't you tell anyone initially?
because initially there's the facade that you're a soldier.
Mhm.
Suck it up. Nothing's wrong with you. Drive on, soldier. Roger that. You don't cry. You don't have feelings. You're a soldier. But the thing was, I felt like, okay, soldier, I do have feelings. I am over here crying. I am, like, I don't care what y'all saying. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was a real thing. And when you've never been taught, or you've never saw it in a healthy manner to go through a divorce and, things like that, that's hard. That's hard because my feelings was hurt. I was embarrassed. I was ashamed. I didn't want to have to tell people I went through that. I didn't want to have to tell people why I'm walking around with 4 children that are under the age, 6 by myself with no male around and I'm struggling. I didn't want to have to do all that. You know what I'm saying? Um, but um again, running to my best friend, she had a couple of hard conversations with me. And then I was blessed to run into women that had kind of been through what I went through. And literally after, and then I ended up going through therapy, and my therapist had told me, and I didn't really understand it at the time, because I was like, what? She was like, you need to grieve your divorce. You need to grieve it. And she said, what I need you to do is I need you to go home and I need you to go in the mirror. And she said, I need you to do like a Michael Jackson, Man in the Mirror. And I need you to tell the truth to that person, no
Mm.
matter how good it is or how bad it is, because you keep covering it up and you don't want to talk. You know what I'm saying? So I did it. And I never forget, I ended up on the floor, face down in tears, that I had to own. I was embarrassed. I was ashamed. I didn't know what I was really doing. I had to own it all, you know, because sometimes when people see you in the uniform, they think you got it all and you know everything you're doing. Not true. But I had to own it, and I had to really grieve my divorce. And that when I finally picked myself up, I surrounded myself with women that held me accountable.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
they said, you know what? You said you want better for your kids. Roll your sleeves up, Sergeant. Get to work. Stop talking about it and being about it and be about it. You know what you need to do.
Mhm.
So no more looking for the pity parties. You know what you need to do for you and your kids. So show us and show your children how much they are worth it. Are you really going to be able to make the sacrifices? Can you make the sacrifices for your kids? Or is that just talk? There's no need to walk around for a pity party because guess what? There's a lot of single mothers out here. So once that finally clicked in and I got around mentors that held me accountable, held me accountable. They
You
would be
had to
like,
respect them. You had to
yes,
respect them for them to hold you accountable. And
yes.
I say that because I talk to a lot of people now who say, I have no one to talk to. And
Hmm.
it's not
Oh,
so
yeah.
much that it may not be so much that you don't have anyone to talk to. It just may be that the people that you are talking to, um,
Mhm.
you're not able to communicate freely with them, and they're not able to support you because you don't respect them. Do you know what I
That part,
mean?
yes. Yes, ma'am. And that is very accurate. That's very true. That is true. That's why I keep saying I was blessed with the lives that were, given to me and were put in my life. I was blessed because everybody doesn't get that same opportunity. There's people in the military that has toxic leadership,
Mhm.
you know, and that can be very hard. But unfortunately for me, whether it was male or female, they held me accountable. And even to this day, I feel like I'm about to tear up. Even to this day, um, even though I'm gone and retired, most of them are gone and retired, they still check up on me. They still hold me accountable, even though I'm not in a uniform. They'll still hit me up and say, "Hey, where are you at that doctorate? Now, you told me when you was a specialist, you was going to be a doctor. You were adamant. You came in there with confidence and stuff. So where are we at?" Till this day, outside of a uniform, they still hold me accountable. And just like they hold me accountable, they also gave me my flowers too. You know, um, I have an old first sergeant. He's now a sergeant major. Um, he was like, he said, "Doggone Maldonado." He said, "I remember when you came in my office." He was like, "You were ate up." You know?
What does A up mean?
Ate up means bad,
Oh,
awful,
ate up,
just
ate up, ate up, ate up.
yes,
Mhm.
yes. And he was like, "But when I look at you," he said, "I just smile and shake my head because of the growth of who you are now." He was like, "If I was to tell somebody, hey, Sarah Maldonado was ate up back in the day, nobody would," he was like, "they probably wouldn't believe me because of how much you have evolved and how you seized the moment, how you took in every benefit and every entitlement. No matter big or small, you push yourself, you challenge yourself. There were some days you cried, but you cried and you got right back in the fight. You never gave up. And look at you now.
Mhm.
Nobody would believe that you did 20 years, 6 months, and 22 days you
Wow,
know, and
wow,
that, at the age 38, I'm retired.
wow, wow. So let me
Yeah.
ask you this. You've evolved a lot, as you said, from the beginning.
Hmm.
And we know evolution doesn't like it shouldn't start and stop. It's evolution, so it continues.
Yes.
What is the next thing for you in this evolution? And how do you think your experience in the military will help
Mhm.
you meet your goals?
So the next chapter for me is, one, obtaining my doctorates. So the military has paid for all my schooling 100%. I didn't have to take out student loans or anything like that. So that was a benefit of being in the military. And not only did I benefit from that, but now my children, they utilize, it's called Chapter 35. Now, my boys are in college and my benefits are paying for them
Wow.
um, to get, their degrees, their bachelor's degrees. And it also, for my next chapter, what it looks like and what I'm embarking and embracing now is being more present for my children. Um, my oldest one, I missed out on a lot. I was deployed a lot. I was in the field a lot. I was gone. So my family, you know, kind of, raised them. But now, that was something that was also, in my heart and that I wanted to do was to be a present and relevant mother. Um, so now anything my daughter's doing, I'm like there. PTA, PT, anything, I'm teaching at the high school she's at, like I'm there.
Present.
I'm there. It feels good. to cook my daughter a meal, for dinner. It feels good to help her with homework. It feels good to not have to tell her like, mommy's got to deploy again. I'm gonna be gone a year. Um, so I'm embracing being a mommy and doing my mommy roles without having to say, because people don't want to admit it, but it's the truth. Your family comes second to Uncle Sam. They really do. Just like we sacrifice our families, they take the bigger sacrifice, because they have to uh, come second to the
Yes.
army, and then they don't even know if you get deployed, if you're gonna make it home. You know what I'm saying? So just imagine being a child in a single parent home, being raised by your mother, and she's getting deployed back and back to back to back to back, and you don't know if that's gonna be the last time you hug your mom. And as a mother, you can't make that kind of a promise that you can't be like, because anything could happen. So um
Have you seen the
I
difference? Have you seen the difference in your daughter now that she sees you around more often?
yes and no, because she was very, very, very little, you
Mhm.
know. So she only remembers a little bit of it, because I was on the downslopes in retiring, as she got older. Um, but do I see it more with like my sons? Yes, yes, yes. Especially my oldest one, because I knew I had to make it. Like it was just no fail, because on my last deployment, I never forget, 2011, I was in Afghanistan. Christmas camp time had came. And, as a single mother, I'm glad that I'm making all this money so I can get my kids everything they want for Christmas, right? So
Mhm.
I'm like mother of the year. I send everything back. My kids have everything on their Christmas list. And I call on Skype because Skype was popular back then. I call on Skype Christmas Day. And I never forget. And I knew in that moment, oh no, I got to get my stuff together. I got, because my son, he gets on the Skype, and I'm like, Merry Christmas. I'm just happy, what I'm saying, because I done got him everything. And my son looks at me in the screen and he breaks down crying. So
Mhm.
I'm like, well, what happened? You didn't get your Christmas gift yet? I'm like, yeah, they open gifts yet? Like, why are you crying? And he said, I just want you. And what parent, that's the easiest gift. It didn't cost any money. And here it was, I spent thousands of dollars. And the only thing that my child wanted was me. So of course that day, I was no good. Anytime somebody said Merry Christmas, I just woo, they're like, what happened? And I told them, and it threw my cousin off because they were at my cousin's house. So my cousin was like, "Oh my God, T, I didn't know he was going to do that. I'm so sorry. Are you okay?" And I'm like, "No, I'm not." And I had to walk around in that, you know what? I've got to make this work for me so that I can give my children everything, and that I can be present for them. I said, because I didn't want my children to grow up to feel like they can never have access to me, you know.
Or
So
that
I was like, okay, I got to get promoted. I got to start making this money. This stuff got to come a little quick, because I don't want another conversation ever like that. I don't want my children ever crying like that. Like that really tore me up. So
it was a wake
now,
up call.
yes.
It was a wake up call.
So like I was kind of like taking a class here, a class there, this and this and this. Oh no, ma'am. I sped up. I started doubling up them classes. I said, I'm gonna get this education. I'm gonna get everything. So that way I can have me a couple of backup plans and be set up for success, and things like that. And I was like, because my child is never gonna cry like that again. So I see it now. Again, not so much with my daughter because she was so young, but my boys, yes. And I was glad that my children got to the age where they could articulate and say thank you, because I felt like for a very long time. I was like, I don't think my kids are gonna understand, because I was always gone a lot, but trying to get them to understand, like, this is a sacrifice that I'm making for us,
Mhm.
to give us a better life, to give you more than what I had. I felt like for a long time, like, I don't think they understand it. I think they're gonna be upset because I was always gone a lot and things like that. And then finally, when my kids got older, I'll never forget my son. He said, Mom, he said, when I make it big and I start making money, he was like, is it okay if I just give you my money? And I said, well, why would you give me your money? And he was like, Mom, just to pay you back for everything you've done. And I just stood in the parking lot when he told me, and I was just in tears. And I
You
was
start
like,
crying again.
you know, and
I
I was
was
just like,
I was reading an article, and it was
mm-hmm,
a article out of the UK, and basically what it was saying is that mental health can
mm-hmm,
be in a child can be predicted by the parent's happiness. So when
yes,
when the mom is sad, the girls have a
mm-hmm,
very high rating of mental health
mm-hmm,
challenges and depression because they were
mm-hmm.
worried about the mom's happiness. The boys
Yes,
as
that's true.
well. They
That's true.
it wasn't escalated with the dads the way that was
Mm-hmm.
escalated with the mom. So
Very true.
they do
Very true.
understand the sacrifice. They do appreciate.
Mm-hmm.
Just the
That
little
is
things,
very,
just the
very
little
true.
things. Yeah. And my daughter, she'll call me to say, Ma, it's raining. Should I wear rain boots? I'm exaggerating, but
Mm-hmm.
those calls really make a difference.
Mm-hmm.
My youngest son, when I talk to him and when I go see him, if I cry, he wipes my tears because he just doesn't want to see me,
Mm-hmm.
cry, even though they're tears of joy. Like
Sure. Yes.
they get it. They get it.
Mhm.
Realizing that they got it.
Yes.
Realizing that you've made some amazing friends, realizing that you've made a tremendous contribution to us, to our
Yes.
freedom.
Yes.
I want to say thank you for all the people,
Mm-hmm.
all the people that you've supported, including
Mm-hmm.
me. Thank you for
Oh,
your
you're
service.
welcome. You're welcome. You're welcome. And, before we get off, I don't know who's going to watch this. I don't know who's going to look at this, but especially for those who look like me, um, I would want to say to you, be encouraged. The best is yet to come. You're not the first one, and you won't be the last one. But just know that you're looking at somebody and you're listening to somebody that has endured a lot, but also in the same breath, has conquered me. And I was not just the standard. In some things, I created a new standard. I say that because I ended my military career as a black cat. You will not see that many women of color who are freely jumping out of planes and are teaching people to be airborne, and who are teaching people to be a jump master. But believe it or not, this brown skinned girl did that and helped to create a norm that, being a jump master doesn't have a color, a look, a height. You don't have to be married. You can be a single mother and have done that. And I did that. To this day, you can come to Fort Liberty, used to be Fort Bragg. You can go to the Advanced Airborne Schoolhouse and you'll see my name up there on the wall.
Let's go jump out of a
Um,
plane.
mhm, I was airborne, yes.
No, no, I said, let's go jump out of a plane. I've seen that place in
Yes,
Fayetteville,
yes,
where you
yes.
can do the training, the 2-hour training in the
Mhm.
wind tunnel and that kind of stuff.
Yes, 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 yes,
I want
yes.
to do it.
Let me know and we'll
So,
go and do it.
now, would we jump tandem?
They have all of them. You can, do the whole skydiving right up the road from there.
Mhm.
You can do tandem. They got the indoor one where you can do the indoor.
S-
Um,
The one
it's
I saw was indoor for 2 hours, and then after you do indoor for 2 hours, then you're able to jump. But
Yes,
but I want to jump. I want to jump tandem with you. That's what I'm saying. I want to jump tandem with you.
we can try, I have to take my license, because I've been out for a while. So, your license has to be current,
Oh, well, never
to
mind.
hook
I
up.
want to jump tandem with you.
Yeah, yeah, that's what I
If
said.
your
Let me check
license,
my
if your
license.
license is not current, wait a minute. Let's go find somebody else that you know.
Yes,
So I
yes,
can.
yes,
But can you
yes.
jump by yourself? Do you think you could jump by yourself now?
Yeah, I still can. When you do, I did it for years. Believe it or not, I have 87 jumps that was counted and logged,
Wow.
so
Wow.
um that's night and day. So yes. So again, to whoever's gonna look at this, um, I'm here to encourage you. I'm here to encourage you to live in your authentic truth. You can do it. Anything you put your mind to,
So
just with a little bit of faith, you can.
quick question.
Hmm.
Lesson learned. Lesson learned from high school to military.
Ooh, read your contract. Read your contract. Make sure you understand every line where you put your initial. Make sure you understand that, especially when it comes to your benefits and your entitlements.
Okay.
I know that at the age 17, you probably don't care about your retirement savings plan. You probably don't care, about what you're going to switch over to your kids, because you might not have any kids, but you
Right.
might in the future have a family. So if you're sitting here, no, 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 and not preparing, and then you become a mother and you're just like, oh, I probably should have signed up for that. I probably should have taken advantage of that. So think about your future, not in the now. Make sure you ask all those impertinent questions. Make sure before the ink dries that you understand what you have signed, to, like they make jokes say that you signed your life away. Yes. If you don't pay attention. So the lesson I learned was to pay attention to detail.
Okay. Lesson learned from military to divorce to leaving your marriage.
There's nothing too hard.
Okay.
There's nothing too
Lesson
hard.
lesson learned from divorce to um finding your best friends to moving to Italy.
I'm loved.
Okay. And lesson learned from Italy to transitioning out of the military.
Work ethic. Work ethic, being a woman of your word, being a woman of integrity, taking accountability, and putting in the work with no excuse.
At the core of it was the military.
Yes, because I learned those traits through the military. I had to learn to have integrity. I had to learn to be a hard worker, be trustworthy, take accountability for my actions, be at the right place at the right time in the right uniform, doing the right thing.
With the right connections. The
Yes.
right connections. Because if it were the Russian woman, if it were the Russian woman, you may not be where you are today. If you had not taken the time to get to know the Blackwells and was focused on the food, you may not be where you are today, right? With the
Mhm.
strength and
Right.
encouragement that you had in Italy. So,
And it's just like in anything in life. Sometimes you just run into people,
mhm.
and sometimes God will just put that person on your heart and be like, I don't know why I'm just feeling connected to speak to you or to come around you. But sometimes